DJ Rec cut the beat. First and foremost, let's get into this right here. Okay, guys. This is very, very important right here. Very, 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 very. Did I say very? This is very important right here. That you go subscribe to my Paradigm channel. That you go subscribe to my Paradigm channel. This is going to be the official channel for Paradigm. In the next few days, I'm going to be completely fixing this page up. It's going to be, I already have 12 episodes done of Paradigm, which is my podcast about breaking through whatever belief system that you were indoctrinated with, right? So definitely I'm gonna drop the link to Paradigm, but definitely go check this channel out. Go subscribe to it. I'm gonna leave a link to this to the Paradigm channel in the comment section. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'm gonna just keep promoting this every video. I only have 59 subscribers over there, but I'm gonna be, this is gonna be the brand. We're gonna be I'm gonna make a TikTok. I'm gonna make everything, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'll give you a little preview, but I have 12 episodes of Paradigm done. So we'll check this out. Let's check this out. This is an interview I did with Metaphysical Life Mastery. Okay, check
all
this
of
out.
these systems go back to goddesses, a lot of them. Everybody likes money, I think. Everybody wants to have what they need. So Minerva is in a trio along with Jupiter and Juno. Jupiter was married to Juno. Juno actually is what June is named for. Jupiter was married to Juno, yet he cheated on her regularly. That's why the planet Jupiter has all these moons around it, and the moons are named for the women that he cheated on his married wife with. So Minerva, being about law, justice, trades, and strategy, and being connected to Athena, she and Athena are basically the same because the Greek came before the Roman, and the Romans adopted pretty much everything the Greeks had. And then the same thing happened in Egypt. So Minerva and Athena are pretty much the same. Just one is Greek. Athena is Greek, which is why there's Athens, Greece. And then Minerva is Roman or Latin.
And this is why.
So on this channel, my Paradigm channel. Damn. Okay, we got 2 subscribers already. That's what's up. On my Paradigm channel, like I said, I have, we just did the interview with Kelly. We did part 1. That was episode 12. Okay, so right now on this channel, I only have, I think, like 5 episodes up here. You know what I'm saying? But I got like, 6 more ready to go. So definitely go check out that channel. Like I said, we're gonna try to really get that channel in the algorithm because it's a lot of great content that I had to put on private. Okay. All right. So let's check this out. Let's get straight into the content. This video is dedicated to all the delusional people that struggle with narcissistic personality disorder. Let's get to it.
Here at Med Circle, I really want to be careful as we use these 2 terms because I think a lot of the listeners don't know if their friend, family member, or boss has the diagnosis and may never find out unless that other person gets into treatment.
and their friend, family member, boss might just be a jerk.
There might be a jerk, and they may say, "Why should I
And I
go?"
like this lady. Like, would I smash? Absolutely. Would I wife? Absolutely. It's nothing more attractive than a woman with self-awareness and logic and oh my God. Is nothing more attractive than that. But there's people in this world that, you know what, before I even get into that video, right? Check this out. There's people in this world that they just don't have the ability to apologize. There's people that really walk this earth that, whatever arguments you have or disagreements, it could easily be de-escalated with a simple apology, and then you move on and things of that nature. But there really are people that walk this earth that suffer from true delusion, that don't have the ability to just say, you know what, I'm sorry, or I fucked up, or have the awareness of, the person, the parties involved, to be able to have the foresight to say, you know what, this isn't a person that this is not a person that I want to lose. So I need to check myself. I need to self-examine myself. You know what I'm saying? So that I can maintain a healthy relationship with this individual. But there's other people out there. The truth is, let's see this. It says people who can't apologize appear to be tough individuals who refuse to back down, but they don't do this because they're strong. It's because they're weak. I remember my ex-girlfriend, I told her, I'm like, we would get into arguments and she would just constantly talk about how I should respond and what I should have did. You know what I'm saying? And instead of just apologizing and saying they were wrong, instead of taking any self accountability or even these people are so weak, they literally refuse to hold themselves accountable. Not saying that they don't have the ability to, they just refuse to, because they're that weak. Let's have a real conversation, right? People who cannot apologize often have such deep feelings of low self-worth that their fragile egos, that's one of the first things you're supposed to learn when you reconnect with your soul, or quote unquote wake up. You have to murder your ego. Okay, you have to murder your ego. Your ego is the lowest vibe. You know what I'm saying? Your ego is a form of hell. It's its own layer of hell, right? You have to assassinate, annihilate, destroy your ego. That's the first thing you have to do, right? And you have a lot of people out here that are slaves to their ego. Their ego is in the driver's seat. The ego is along the frequency of demonic possession. So you got a demon in the driver's seat and you don't even realize it. You know what I mean? It's like your vessel, your ego is hijacking, you know what I'm saying, you on a spiritual level. It's nasty work. It's nasty work, right? I don't know what y'all niggas in the chat is talking about, bro. I can never look at my chat. Okay, so this says feelings of low self-worth that their fragile egos cannot absorb the blow of admitting they were wrong. Okay, once again, I was raised by narcissists. This is literally describing my own mother. Do you understand? It's like they'll literally pass out and die if they have to admit that if they have to come to that overstanding, if they have to come to that, if they have to admit they're wrong, man, they'd rather die. They would rather lay down and die. Says, so their defense mechanisms kick in at times unconsciously, and they may externalize any blame and even dispute basic facts. Okay, externalize any blame and dispute basic facts to ward off the threat of having to lower themselves by offering an apology. See, a real person that has really been through real shit, and they learn how to kill their ego, and they got closer to the source, and they're vibrating on a higher level, bro. It's nothing to apologize. It's nothing to apologize. It's nothing. You don't even think about it. You know, if anything, you feel like an asshole if if somebody's telling you you upset them in a certain way, or you offended them. You feel like an asshole if you don't apologize. These people are the exact opposite. Okay. Okay, they would feel like an asshole. Their ego, right? Their ego would basically feel like under attack if they apologize. You see what I'm saying? The truest people out here, they've already conquered their ego. The truest people. That's what real people do. The first thing you got to do before you do anything is conquer your ego. It's as simple as that. So it says, when they double down on their wrongness by blaming circumstances, denying the facts, or attacking the other person or people involved, non-apologizers can make themselves feel empowered rather than diminished. I don't know why the hell is wrong with me. Okay. Psychologically speaking, admitting that we're wrong is emotionally uncomfortable and painful to our sense of self. In order to take responsibility and apologize, our self-esteem needs to be strong enough for us to absorb that discomfort. Indeed, if our self-esteem is higher and stable, we can tolerate the temporary ding, right? If our self-esteem is higher and stable, okay, these people, when it's like a life or death situation, for a person to just simply say 2 words, I apologize, I'm sorry, so on and so forth. When a person is incapable of doing that, they're exposing themselves for having low self-esteem, for not being in control or conquering their ego. Okay, this is a scientific fact. This is a scientific fact. This is a scientific fact. Appreciate it. Definitely check out the Paradigm channel. I gotta clip a lot of videos. I got so many videos, man. Definitely check it out. So on this channel, we just talk about facts and presenting. It's a scientific fact. Okay. The mistake we often make when faced with someone incapable of apologizing is to become irate and try to win our argument with them. But the sad reality is, we'll never win. We'll never win. You'll never You'll never win an argument against a narcissist. You'll never win. I'm sorry to tell you that. You'll never win that. You feel me? The frustrating reality is we can never win, even if we demonstrated that they were wrong in stark, with Jesus Christ. They were wrong in stark, inarguable facts. They will either deny those inarguable facts or pivot to a personal attack by saying something like, why do you always make things difficult and unpleasant? Unpleasant. I don't know why I can't read today, bro. I don't know why I can't read today, y'all. Oh my God. This is hold on. I'm gonna come back to this. Okay. And I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has encountered people like this at least once in their life.
Get a diagnosis. There's nothing wrong with me. And if they're walking around saying there's nothing wrong with me and I'm fine,
then according to the DSM, they're not.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not they don't have NPD.
No, that's it. And that's where people get upset. I get emails every day. Will you talk to my husband and tell him he has narcissistic personality disorder? I'm like, no. Absolutely
please,
not.
please, I would love to do that.
No win there. So that's a lot of the struggle here is that, and you know what? The pattern of narcissism, it's awful. They may be fine with it, but you as the recipient of that pattern, it's not, you're going to struggle with it. It's uncomfortable. It's one of those patterns that's really unhealthy for the people around it. I call it the secondhand smoke of psychiatry. Like being near a person who's narcissistic, it's as unhealthy as doing it yourself.
Whoa. That is a great metaphor.
Mhm.
NPD is the secondhand smoke of psychiatry.
I'd say narcissism is the secondhand smoke of
Narcissism.
our time.
Of our time.
And I'll say that I'm on record saying that narcissists are the cancer to this realm. Narcissists are the cancer to this realm because these are the individuals. They might even be NPCs. I'm gonna be honest with you. Narcissists really might be NPCs, or if not NPCs, they might. I don't think that. Actually, I take that back. I don't think narcissists are NPCs. I think narcissists are really just under, like, they're under some sort of demonic possession or low vibrational, influence. That's what I believe. Because narcissists, when you think of NPCs, you just think of people that have no soul. They have no vessel. They have nothing going on. They're just there. You know what I mean? Like, they just attach themselves to everything that the Matrix has to offer. They have no critical thinking at all. But when it comes to narcissists, I just feel like narcissists, their vessels are being hijacked, and there's a lot of they have to cleanse their spirit of that energy. You understand?
You stand close enough.
Because I used to be a narcissist. I never was an NPC. I mean, I don't feel like I was an NPC. You know what I'm saying? I did follow a lot of trends, and I did try to, what's that word called? When you try to be like, I can't remember the word. You try to be like, you see things on TV and stuff like that. Imitate. I tried to imitate a lot of things that I saw that resonated with me, but I never felt like I was an NPC. I grew out of it. Now, if I was still on that type of shit, then yeah, I would be an NPC. But because NPCs, non-playable characters, there is no evolution. They're stagnant. Their existence is stagnant. That's how you can tell. You can differentiate a soul, from a non-playable character. There's evolution. NPCs are incapable of evolution. Let's have a real conversation.
Up to it, you're gonna.
And I would listen, man. proper. What's her name on Instagram, man? I need me a bit like this.
Get sick.
Even that's a huge deal for people because somebody might not get the diagnosis.
Yeah, they just.
But they still have
Yeah.
all these toxic behaviors that are affecting
Oh,
you.
absolutely. And you know what? In some ways, the diagnosis is irrelevant because all that's doing is saying the person's having problems because of it. But if they're lying, manipulating, exploiting, raging at you, who cares if they have a diagnosis? That's not good for you to
That's
be
right.
in the presence of. And then it takes us back to that more critical issues. Why are people like this? Or like this because they're insecure. And that makes
Right.
people feel guilty. Well, if he's insecure and this is why he's doing this, and that's what we're going to have to get to the core of.
When does normal self-confidence cross the line into grandiosity?
Self-confidence is a healthy state. And people who are self-confident don't need to blast their achievements from every rooftop and every social media platform. People who are truly self-confident don't need to talk over other people and their achievement. People who are self-confident don't require their achievements to be front and center and ahead of everybody else's. People who are self-confident are so confident in their sense of self and their achievement.
Give you an example, right? I give you the perfect example. Because we're really taught, we're just really taught to we always gotta fucking seek out the approval of people. That's how we're bred to do that shit. You know what I mean? So I was on the phone with this I was on the phone with this nothing ass bitch yesterday. First time I ever talked to her, I was on the phone with her for all of 3 minutes. First time I ever talked to her. And within 3 minutes, I just blocked her out of my whole life. I was like, yeah, no, thank you. that's all. That's all that yeah, that's all I needed. 3 minutes. Yeah, I learned in 90 seconds. I learned everything I needed about this person. Like, on every level. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, thank you. You're gonna die alone. Okay, where's Kevin Samuels at? When you need them, I feel bad for whatever animal she owns. She could, Lord have mercy, man. So anyway, this bitch said, she said something. I don't remember. I forgot why I was telling this story. I'm being honest, John, bro.
That they actually can stay quiet.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I had told her, she was like, these bitches is like real weird nowadays, so they always ask you like, what do you do for work? I mean, just basically, I guess they're like, honestly, a lot of them are bums. They have like bum mentalities, so they try to find a guy that's making like a lot of money so they don't have to work. And I'm not talking about like stay at home moms. I'm talking about bum ass bitches that don't even want to have kids. I'm talking about bum ass bitches that don't even want to have kids. They just don't want to work. They just want to lay around the house all day and scroll on fucking Instagram and shit. You know what I'm saying? And be in a low vibration all day, being jealous and envying other people's lives. That's what I'm talking. Those are the type of bitches that I'm talking about. Okay. Be treated like kids and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like DoorDash fucking like just order fucking Uber Eats every day, all day. Just don't even put no fucking, don't work out, don't do nothing with their face type bitches. Just anyway, so she's like, oh well, what do you do for work? And then I told her what I did, and then she basically was like, she acted like bro, I keep forgetting why I'm telling this
Quiet
story.
about it.
Oh yeah. I keep forgetting why I tell this story. So then I told her what I was doing, and then I told her what I was working on. Like I started like a business, and then she was like, oh. And then I'm like, did I say something wrong? You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, when I'm talking to people, I be trolling half the time because I genuinely don't even I don't care about your acceptance or anything like that. It's cool when I can relate with people, but I don't give a fuck about you accepting me. I've been shunned by the entire satanic simulation realm. I could care the fuck less. It's not. I don't have it in me. That's already been exhausted. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. If you accept me or not, it don't matter. It is what it is. So I'm telling her, yeah, I started a business. And then she's like, oh, well, and basically she was trying to say like, oh, well, people, when people say stuff like that, they're like basically lying or stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm lying. Like, because basically I was like, I don't have to prove anything to you. You know what I'm saying? I have the receipts of what I'm doing. I have, you know what I mean? Like I have everything to prove it to myself. So I don't need to prove anything to you, especially if you're a stranger. You know what I'm saying? So I have that self-confidence in me, is what I'm saying, to not have to prove anything, especially to a fucking stranger. It's different when you have a relationship with somebody and it's a committed relationship, whether it be intimate or platonic. And it's a situation where you want to make that person proud, vice versa. It's a two-way street, and you've known each other for years, and you built up a strong relationship. It's a completely different, you know what I'm saying? And even then it doesn't come down to like, so it has nothing, it doesn't affect your self-confidence, you know what I'm saying? So once again, like I was like, well, listen, man, I have nothing to prove. I have nothing to prove to you, bitch. I have absolutely nothing to prove to you. Like, honestly, I just I just wanted to borrow your throat, bitch. I'm gonna be honest.
In another video in this series, we'll talk about the different types of NPD.
I just
But
wanted to
I'll give
borrow
everyone
the
a
throat.
preview from the original video we did, the communal narcissist.
The communal narcissist.
When you said it's that person who goes and volunteers on a
But
Saturday.
like, it's just when a person is so like, when a person is just so unbearable when they open their mouth and stuff like that, that you don't even like, it's gonna sound fucked up, but you don't even want to use them for any type of like sexual satisfaction. You like, oh God, that's how unbearable you're. So unbearable, I don't even want to use you. I don't even want to use, you know what I'm saying? And that's not, you're not supposed to use anybody, but it's like, God damn, bro. Jesus.
Saturday, but takes selfies the whole time in a full perfect face of makeup.
So it's like, you know, when I say like non-playable character, when I say stuff like that, we're talking about it's levels of consciousness. This is just, I'm examining her on a conscious level, and it was just like, okay, she's beneath me in this ladder of consciousness. She's beneath me. She's spiritually immature. I'm not judging her, believe it or not. I'm not judging this female. I don't judge anybody. I'm not qualified to judge anybody. That's the creator, okay? That's the creator's credentials. I'm not qualified to judge anybody. You know, when I come up on here, I'm just, I'm verbalizing my observations. So never get it like, never get it fucked up. I'm not on here judging people or anything like that. We're just making observations based on facts, logic, and evidence. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So, when I say like a non-playable character, they're at that stage. They're either at that stage where they're just in the background, or maybe a non-playable character. Like I said, it could just be filler. Non-playable characters could merely be fillers in this realm. There could be non-playable characters in every realm. Like, who knows?
I go, oh,
Who knows?
I so know that person.
And it's also the person who you say like, let's throw a gala, and you're like, but the gala is going to cost 10,000, and you're only going to make 500 for the charity. Why not just write the full 10,000 for the charity? Like, but I need the gala. They need galas. They need galas. They need parties. They need celebrations.
And you know what? I'm smiling when you say that, because I think smiling is one of my coping mechanisms, by the way, like laughter and smiling, because these are very deep and heavy topics.
Yeah,
and they're affecting a lot of everybody who's in a relationship with a narcissist.
Which is almost everybody.
And in a lot of cases, there are narcissists.
Any dude, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Maybe this is my paradigm bleeding through, right? Maybe this is my paradigm bleeding. Any grown man that cross his legs when he sit down, I think they suck dick with both hands.
Narcissists or in people with NPD who are suffering.
If you want to get down to the core of it, they are suffering because they're deeply insecure. And that's where, but do they experience it as suffering? I'll tell you this, like I said, with the people with NPD or narcissism, where we start peeling back the layers, by the time you get down to layer 10 and you start looking in the gaping hole, it's not comfortable.
Gaping hole. Wow. Pause. Don't say it. I wish the camera was on him. He was gaping hole. How do you know about what happened last night?
For them, and your heart does ache for them, because there's almost a childlike emptiness to them.
A childlike emptiness.
I'm not saying I'd want to be in a relationship with them, though. I can tell you that right now. I mean, I can handle it for an hour at a time, but my God, for a person who actually has to live with that day in and day out, it's a nightmare.
Are there common co-occurring disorders with people with NPD?
People who have narcissistic personality disorder or even narcissistic traits, there are several co-occurring patterns we can see that are more likely to happen. All forms of substance use disorders. A lot of times it's to fill the emptiness or to enhance the grandiosity. So alcohol use, cocaine use, a stimulant use, that kind of thing. So you'll see some of that. Depression. Interestingly, narcissism and depression can hang out together. A lot of it is that insecurity and that emptiness. It's not unusual to see those two.
You notice it like every time, you're in the presence of this individual, or you hear this individual speaking, it's always low vibrational shit. They're always talking about, oh, my friend died and I'm losing this and I don't have that. It's like, I'm like the opposite, right? Me, the type of person I am, I'm gonna be home. I'm literally I'm not gonna have a place to live in 2.5 months. But do I come up on here and I whine and I complain? No. I've always had this spirit of just like, yo, laugh now, cry later type shit. We're going to find um we're going to find some sort of humor in this hell. We're going to find some sort of humor in this hell. I'm not going to come up on here and just constantly fucking whine and complain and cry about some shit. That it's like when you're in tune on a spiritual frequency, right? You just give it up. You give that energy up. You release it. You don't hold on to it. That's what these people do. They fool themselves and make themselves believe that they're tough, but they're weak as shit because they're holding on to that negative energy. They're holding on to this, and this negative energy makes them appear in this realm as if they have narcissist personality disorder or borderline personality. They have a fucking disorder, okay? And in reality, what's happening is your spirit ain't right. Just as simple as that. Your frequency is fucked. It's as simple as that. And when somebody tells you that, if you tell these people that, yo, your frequency is fucked up, you need to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? When you tell somebody that's a narcissist or whatever, when you tell somebody that, once again, their ego, like, it's like, you think about a car, right? Think about a car. You have they'll be their true self. It's their true self in the car. And it's their ego or, demonic possession, whatever you want to call it, in the car. Their true self will be in the driver's seat. But as soon as you trigger, as soon as you say a trigger word or you trigger them on that level, now their ego literally like puts them in the passengers, puts their true self in the passenger seat. Now the ego is in the driver's seat. And a lot of times, what I notice, like a lot of people, when that situations happen, when they get triggered like that, I notice a lot of those people, they don't even remember they don't even remember, like they lose all sense of like rational logic. And a lot of times they don't even remember what they said. They don't even remember why they flipped out. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, bro. It's insane. I'm like, yo, so on one hand, the empath in me is like, you going through it. You're in the blender. That's what they call it. You're in the blender right now. Okay. Cause you're not in control of yourself. But at the second time, on the second hand, I'm like, yo, I had to learn how to control myself. And if I could do it, you could do it. And, but you got to make the choice to. These people, they don't, you know what I'm saying? Some people not ready to make that choice, but most people, they don't want to make that choice. They're comfortable in their delusion. They're comfortable in that pocket and that frequency of pure delusion. And those are the people, I'm like, fuck them. Those people, I'm like, fuck them. I have no pity for them. I disable my empathy for them. I'm like, fuck them.
Kind of hanging out together.
But
you know what I mean?
They getting diagnosed with depression?
Sometimes they're getting diagnosed with depression because they might be very irritable. We'll see that in men. What will happen is you'll sometimes confuse the two as well, because a type of narcissism we're going to be talking about today is called covert narcissism. People who are covert narcissists, they're a little bit like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. It's like, woe is me. No one understands me. How come the world is so unfair to me? And they seem so downtrodden that they look depressed. And then all of us will treat them as though they're depressed, and we're making absolutely no headway. And then one day you dawns on you like, oh, this isn't depression at all. So actually, quite frankly, we'll often treat the we'll think they're depressed before we'll think they're narcissistic.
Wrongly so.
But wrongly so.
Yeah. Again, just highlighting how important it is to get the right diagnosis.
It really is, because these personality patterns also make treating other mental health conditions. For example, it's not unusual for narcissism to also be found coexisting with bipolar disorder, which is also
There it is.
a very messy kind of issue to treat, because the
People that act one way on the internet and then act a completely different way in real life. People that appear, you know what I'm saying, to be a certain personality online, but then I guess they, you know, for lack of a better term, they, you know, that persona, that facade is undressed in real life. Right? But you would only know that. See, here's the thing. You would only be privy to that information if you actually knew people. And that's why I'm like, bro, real life always wins. Real life always wins. Yeah, if you wanna live a facade, if you wanna live in the matrix in that fairy tale, okay, then idol worship these people, be in your little cult on the internet, social media. But as soon as that's what they always say, idols become rivals. Idols become rivals, because as soon as you fucking you around these people long enough, you put the sweat equity, right, the time into being around these people in real life. Oh, you ain't shit. You'd be like, oh, you ain't shit just like everybody else. That's what's gonna happen. Some people might even say that. I already fuck that. I know people that would say that about me. There's people online, y'all would be like, oh shit, I fuck with low key, man. And there's people in real life that'd be like, yo, low key ain't shit. And you will both be right. Two things can be right at the same time. It's just you just were exposed to, you know, you were exposed to my personality at different frequencies. It's as simple as that.
Grandiosity of the mania and the grandiosity of the narcissism often
Double
collide.
whammy.
So you'll see that too.
Yeah.
And when I've worked with families of when they have adult children who are substance abusers, and the adult child goes into rehab, I'll also know that adult child has narcissism, and I'll ache for them, because they're thinking their child's going to go to rehab, not only come out sober, but sweet. They come out sober, but they're still as irritable, invalidating, sort of mean as they always were. That part's not going to go away. That's the narcissism.
Maybe even more so.
Even more so. And you see this a lot in
This
substance
dude is so gay. It's not even funny.
abuse treatment
Yeah.
circles, that you see a lot of it together. Yes, exactly. Because the substance use was sort of helping them kind of shore up their defenses.
Yeah.
And so it can make treatment much, much more complicated.
Ramani Durvasula. I'm about to be all up in her DMs, bro. Begging, please, can we go to Shake Shack? Please, baby, please, Ramani, please.
You'll also see a greater likelihood of, for example, like patterns that are sometimes labeled love and sex addiction, kinds of like
Personality patterns.
compulsive sexuality, compulsive like relationship patterns. You'll see that coexisting with narcissism as well. It just makes everything that much harder to treat.
Yes.
That's what it is, because you don't tend to get as much emotion. There's a lot more defensiveness. I know more than the doctor. There is a lack of empathy. There's a lot of projection. All this stuff really makes it hard to do really deep psychotherapy with somebody.
She's so hot.
How many different types of NPD are there?
Well, there's different kinds of narcissism.
Okay.
Whether those translate into
Why
subtypes
this
of
nigga is sitting on the couch? Your legs should not look exactly how her legs look, bro. The fuck wrong with this?
narcissistic personality disorder. I once said there's 9 possible symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder, which means there's thousands and thousands of possible combinations.
Right.
But if we were really to look at it in 5 patterns that I've sort of broken down in my book, and this is based on the theoretical work on narcissism, drawing from other people's work, when we talk about the types of narcissism, they're not really subtypes of narcissistic personality disorder, but there are different kinds of patterns we see of narcissism. And I think it's important to see the differences, because it shows us this doesn't look the same across everyone. And then some people say, well, that's not narcissism. The person I know acts like this. And I'll say, but it's a similar pattern. Let's get down to the brass tacks of what all narcissists look like. In all narcissism, we tend to see a lack of empathy, grandiosity, entitlement, superficiality,
Yep.
chronic seeking of validation outside of them,
Yep.
arrogance, and a real tendency towards rage, as well as a tendency to manipulate or exploit other people.
Yep.
Those you tend to see across the board to varying degrees. So let's start at the top
I love this
with
bitch.
what I consider the most severe and problematic narcissistic pattern, and that's the malignant or the toxic narcissist. These are the folks that almost look like psychopaths. They'll exploit other people, they take advantage of other people,
Mhm.
they lie, they cheat, they work the system to their advantage. They can often be quite successful. You might wonder, why am I not calling them?
You ever notice that when you ever notice that when it's like the lower vibrational you are, it's like the more, it sounds crazy as hell, but the more people are like attracted to you. But the higher you raise your vibration, the more people they're like turned off by you. I mean, it makes sense because we live in this low vibrational shithole, but it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. Because when I was a piece of shit, I had so many people that were interested in being in my life. And then as soon as I fucking said, let me go and raise my vibration, motherfuckers started scattering like roaches to get the hell away from me.
Psychopaths. They can sometimes feel remorse for what they're doing. I'm like, this isn't cool, but I just got to get this part done and then I'll make it right. Whereas a
Mhm.
psychopath wouldn't need to make it right. So there's just a really manipulative, mean-spirited edge to them
Nigga, breast milk.
that can be very unsettling. But when you first meet them, they're extraordinarily charming, extraordinarily
Nigga,
charismatic,
breast milk.
confident, successful. So that's sort of your malignant, toxic type. You'll often see these folks running big companies, you know, at the heads of government, all of that. Like they really know how to work a system.
Wow.
The next in the group is what I call sort of your classical grandiose narcissist. And that's what most of us think of. The
Mhm.
person who's braggy, who really is entitled, I'm special, I deserve special treatment. It's almost like your celebrity narcissist. That's what your grandiose narcissist. They brag a lot, they show off a lot. Look at my new car, look at my new this, look at my new girlfriend. It's a lot of show and tell. They suck all the oxygen out of the room. All the usual traits, but they don't tend to be as exploitative and as mean as a malignant narcissist, but they are sort of your classical kind of narcissist. The next narcissist on the list, and this is probably the most mysterious one and maybe the most revealing to MedCircle listeners, is the covert or vulnerable narcissist. These are the woe is me narcissists. You know, if the world could
It seems like the passive aggressive narcissist,
see how
like the LeBron James and them bitch ass niggas.
great I am, I'd be one of the great ones, but nobody gets me because I'm ahead of my time. And so you'll often find them sort of at home huddled over their computer being like a troll or like coming up with their next big plan, but they almost have a failure to launch a lot of the time. They can often look depressed. They seem vulnerable because they almost feel like the world doesn't get them. They're hyper sensitive to criticism.
Right.
But they lack empathy and they can be very entitled. Like, I deserve special treatment because, you know, the world doesn't know this, but I'm the best.
Right.
What's interesting about that is I listened to that, and when you would first meet somebody like that, you think, oh,
This guy be sucking on hot dogs like they lollipops, man.
they just have low self-esteem.
Yeah, bingo.
But all narcissists have low self-esteem,
Bingo,
right? That's why
exactly.
they're doing that.
Exactly. So the covert narcissists, they lead with that, but it's almost like they feel like they have this sort of strange. I always say that the covert narcissist has this sort of weird pause. They'll say, yeah, I went to that college, but I guess nobody cares. And they'll do that weird thing.
That's
And you're
funny.
like, okay, well, that's a little bit of a
That's
strange
funny.
pause, but they're like, yeah, I already read that book, but why would you care? You know, it's like one of those, we're like, wow, it's a little bit. There's an edge. It's almost like you're sticking your hand into a bucket of barbed wire. It doesn't feel good. It's like,
but even with those
uncomfortable.
examples, even though they were just random examples, I still feel the pain for that person.
Oh, they feel the world pass them by.
Yeah, but I don't feel the same way with a grandiose narcissist.
You won't as much. No,
yeah.
they feel, the covert narcissist though ultimately will get to the point where they feel the world owes them something. The world owes me, and there'll be a real edge to them, you know, because they seem really sad, and you'll often try to help them, and you'll wonder why they're so ungrateful.
Well,
That's why that can feel really uncomfortable for other people who are so sympathetic to them and wonder why are they not ever saying thank you or recognizing all we did.
yeah.
Now, number 4 is the communal narcissist. The communal narcissist can be very confusing because they're out there volunteering and flying all over the world and doing their own personal rescue missions. And, after every hurricane, they're posting online hurricane goals, #hurricane goals. And like, let's all raise enough money and let's send lots of stuff to
They're the
animals.
hashtag narcissist.
They're the hashtag narcissists,
Yeah.
but they're like, it's all about their goals for helping the world. And like, you'll see them. I mean, you know about animal rescue people, like they're always holding their rescue dogs, but then they go home and they're really mean to their husband.
Yeah.
And they love going to galas and they want buildings named after them. And if they do give a donation, they have to hold 20 gold shovels and have lots of pictures taken. Like, it's all about they do all these things to get validation. That's their tool for getting validation. Are
Right.
often really unkind to the people, their immediate family.
It's just these people are fucking, like, for lack of a better term, they're fucking retarded, man. They possess zero empathy, or they block it. I think they don't even have it. I don't even think they possess empathy. Because it's kind of hard to fake it. It's hard to fake not having empathy. You know what I'm saying? Because you can wear it on your face. You could wear it via body language. I think these true narcissists, these people that have this personality disorder, I think they don't possess. I don't think they possess empathy at all. It's not built into their wiring, right? And it's just so crazy because they don't possess empathy, but they're like, if you say anything to them, they're like highly emotional. So they're just emotionally retarded. You can't say anything to them, and you would think that, like, somebody come to you and they tell you the truth from a place of pure love, because everybody else is basically they're either scared to tell you about yourself because they don't have the confidence themselves to tell the fucking truth out loud, or they're scared that if they tell the truth, they tell you the truth about yourself, you're gonna play the victim, and then you're gonna try to you're gonna go full cult leader and try to turn everybody against that person for simply just trying to help you, which is insane.
Or the people who work under them, they can be absolutely awful to them. And people say, oh my gosh, you're so lucky you work with him. He's so charitable. And the people are just like, oh no, this is really
That's one
not
of
nice.
many characteristics he is.
So the communal narcissist is it takes a while to sort of to peel off that layer, and then to sort of, that's why I always say, pay attention to how a person treats the person who don't have as much power as them in that situation, because that's going to.
Hero, you still up in here? Hero, are you still in the? I wish I had that sound effect. Hero, can you report to the front of the store? Hero, can you report to the front of the store? We have a customer that is claiming to be your baby daddy. Hero, can you report to the front of the Dollar General?
Teach you a lot. So they'll be really sweet to the recipient of the charitable dollars, but really mean to the person who's working with them. And that doesn't add up.
Hero,
The last narcissist is sort of
Hero, your baby daddy is asking to see. You want to call in, Hero, or you at work or whatever?
good natured. I'm going to call them the benign narcissist. The benign narcissist is like this sort of clueless, uninsightful person who just says really vapid things, very superficial, only cares like, all I want is like a fast car. And, you know, you're driving a piece of junk. Like they'll be very dismissive of other people.
This sounds like every 16-year-old I've ever met.
In many ways, there's an adolescence, there's an immaturity, but they really aren't that mean-spirited. And you can actually kind of say, that's not a nice thing to say. And they're like, well, yeah, I guess so. But then they'll go back and say it the next day. I always say it's nice to have a few benign narcissists on deck because they're fun to have at a party. You know, like just keep them on that list, but never turn to them at a time of need.
Just because I'm curious and I get to ask questions, which, you know, somebody put me in charge to do this. Who would you most want to be in a relationship with?
Those are
were
my
the
five.
those are your five.
Oh, mama, you know, and just solitude and in a cabin is because I'm going to take, if solitude in a cabin is my option, I'm going with that.
Okay, so it's not an option.
I don't think any of those are a good.
I mean, you have to
choice.
choose one.
You have to choose
You
one.
have to choose one.
I might choose the communal.
I gotta clip that. I gotta clip that Nature Boy shit because her fucking. And I say this respectfully. God damn, man, like, nigga, breast milk. I gotta clip that shit, bro. I gotta clip that shit. Who the fuck is this calling me? Who the fuck is this?
Narcissist and just be glad they're doing nice things for other
That was
people.
my
Hope to
choice.
God they're nice to me.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, that can be exhausting because when the whole world is saying, you're so lucky, he's so charitable,
Right.
you're like, oh my gosh, he hasn't said something nice to me in 15 years. They're all painful. Maybe the benign one, but even that, you feel like you're forever in a relationship with your high school boyfriend.
Right.
That's not nice.
Right.
So if the cabin by myself for the rest of my life isn't
Yeah.
a possibility, I'm going communal
I get it.
with therapy.
I can have a cabin from you like 2 acres away.
Yeah,
And then we
no.
can just meet when we want to hang out.
I don't recommend any of these types for a
Okay.
relationship.
But what about my
don't.
idea of I'll have a cabin 1 acre away from yours?
that I'll do that.
Okay, because you were
I'll do
shaking your
that.
head no
Turns
like
out
this. I was like, wow.
you might
just-
be a narcissist. So we have
Wow.
That's
to.
true.
I'm a
Let's
little
wait till
concerned
after my
before I
therapy
take
session.
you as my
Yes.
neighbor.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go see the previous episode. Okay. Out of those 5 types, is there one that's most common?
I would have to say probably the grandiose, the classical narcissist.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that's why
it's
we think of
classical.
it because
yeah,
it
that's
is the most
that's
common.
it.
Okay.
I applied for this job. I tell you, boy. I went to this I applied for this like to deliver pizza or some shit like that, bro. Like 2-3 weeks ago. These motherfuckers just calling me. Like last month, I went and applied to deliver pizza because that's how fucking down bad I was. And they're literally just calling me right now. I'm like, bro. I'll blow that motherfucker up, bro.
What am I not asking you about narcissistic personality disorder as it is defined from understanding it that I need to be asking?
You know, all the patterns I gave you are what you see of the 9 characteristics that a diagnostic manual like the DSM would require. What's really interesting is that our diagnostic manuals are now taking sort of a new direction in how we think about these personality patterns. And in the most, I mean, not to put too kind of bookish a point on it, but the DSM now views narcissism and all of the personality disorders through a new kind of a lens. And it looks at, for example, how a person views their own identity. And the narcissist's identity is very much caught up in how they're viewed by other people. So they don't have a core sense of self. Their sense of self is driven entirely by the world outside of them. That's actually a terrifying feeling. Like the only way I'm good is if everyone tells me I'm good today. That's very unstable.
Right.
We also look at goal setting. How do they set their goals? And narcissists set their goal in a way that will get them approval from the world. So either they set their goals unrealistically high so they can talk about the big goals they have, which they're never going to meet, or they set their goals a little too low so they know they're always going to surpass them.
I
So
will buy this bitch whatever she wanted. Whatever you want, bitch.
but no matter what, their goal setting once again is based on how they can talk to the world about these things.
I ain't gonna lie. She look like my ex-girlfriend, bro.
Then when we look at other areas, we look at empathy and their lack thereof. So now DSM is looking at this across all personality patterns, and people with narcissism don't have empathy. They look at people as existing to serve their needs. What can you do for me? And then I'll make a relationship with you. So that's why a lot of people say, but that narcissistic guy was really nice to me. I'm like, yeah, because he needed you as a sales contact.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh. Or they like the fact that you live in the right neighborhood in town. There's a need being served. And then finally, DSM is looking at narcissism through the lens of intimacy. And that's one thing that narcissists are not good at. They're not good at intimacy. They're not good at close relationships. By and large, their relationships
right.
are superficial and
Yeah.
are really engaged in for personal gain.
The last girl I was with, that's all she cared about was clothes. She was it sucked because it was like this barrier. I could tell she had like a powerful personality, but it was like a door. and she closed it. The door was, every now and then it'd be like, what is that? I don't know what the fuck that word is called, bro. Am I high? Like, what the fuck? Like, I ate some Chinese food. Like, I can't think correctly today. Like, yo, the MSG is hitting right now, bro. The door will be like creaked open, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But there was always a barrier between me and her where normally, like, when I'm talking to somebody, I have the ability to like have a soul to soul. Like I get to know, what I'm saying? I break a person down on a spiritual level, and I get to really like converse with them on a spirit, you know what I'm saying? Like spirit to spirit shit. But with her, I could never, man, we was together for almost a year. And I just could never break her down like that. Like I could never break her down. And because she always kept that barrier up. And all the bitch cared about was like clothes and shoes and all of this. Bitch had more sneakers than me, bro. I was like, God damn. I was like, God damn, she be fresher than me, bro.
So they might get a very attractive partner because that makes them look good to the world. They might get a wealthy partner because that will make sure they have lots of money. They might get a famous partner so that they look good to the world. I mean, the characteristics on which they choose the partner are deeply, deeply superficial. And so that's how a narcissist chooses. And so when we look at those areas, self, goal setting, empathy, and intimacy, that's another way to view narcissism. No matter what, it's just really it comes down to that core insecurity, that sense they cannot regulate themselves from the inside out, that they don't have a good sense of identity, and that they're really reliant on the world for telling them what they're about, which makes them actually quite resentful.
Yeah, really, really fascinating. In our next video, we are going to dive deep into what causes narcissistic personality disorder.
Let me show you how we do stuff around here.
Actually, my department uses Monday.com, so I'm good.
The work management tool? No, that's not for me.
Well, Monday.com is all about flexibility, so you can make it your own. You could choose pre-built layouts for anything or build your own workflow. You just open a board, you choose the columns you need, you can move them around, or filter by what's most important for you. That way you're not always chasing your work, you perfect your process.
I gotta show this to Ted. Hey, Ted! He's remoted to Wednesday.
No problem. We just tag Ted on Monday, write an update, and there you go.
Okay, so how do I use it?
You just go to Monday.com and you can see all your work. You can get a broad view of everything you do, or celebrate a small win. It's actually kind of fun.
Okay, so how does one sign up? I'm just asking for Ted.
Just go to Monday.com and start your free trial today.